Hi, everyone. I'm Dave Gambaccini, principal with Xcel Capital Partners in Bedford, New Hampshire, and the New England CCIM Chapter President for 2020. Joining me is Chris Norwood, President of NAI Norwood. Chris, please introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Chris Norwood, President of NAI Norwood Group. We're a family commercial real estate brokerage firm, and I was the chapter president of New England CCIM in 2008 and 2009. Got my pin somewhere back then. Presently, I am the 2020 chair for the New Hampshire Association of Realtors Public Policy Committee.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. I just wanted to have a quick conversation with you. You and I talk a lot offline, and I thought it made sense to kind of bring some of this together for others to see. This pandemic has been, impactful so far to a lot of people. We certainly hope that families, friends, and employees and coworkers are all safe and doing their part to stay that way. But Chris, I just wanted to get your perspective on how you see things in the market at this time.
So for the folks watching this, let's just remember where we are right now. It is springtime in New England. It's just at the end of April. It did snow this week, by the way, for those of you who might have forgotten. But we're just at the end of April. We're heading towards May 1. So we've had 1 month under our belts in terms of watching tenants and landlords, whether or not they're going to pay their rent or their mortgage respectfully. And now we're entering May, this coming Friday. So we're still early in the discovery process. When you think about it, 8 weeks ago, we heard about COVID, but we really didn't know what we know today. So these are the types of things that we're starting to discover. I'll tell you about my personal business and then a little bit from a global perspective. So from a personal business, we saw a good portion of our activity put pause right on March 11th. That was the day Trump gave his speech from the Oval Office, and then it was also the day shortly thereafter that the NBA canceled everything. I think there was actually a game going on that they canceled live. So that's the day that's the demarc date for me. So as you look at what happened is there was a big pause button. And then after about 2-3 weeks, we're starting to get the beginning of April. Folks that said, hey, listen, I've got a lease that's coming due. I need to do something. Those folks entered back into the market. They said, listen, Chris, let's start those conversations again. Investors started to say, okay, well, I'm starting to see stimulus money come in from the federal government, whether it's through unemployment or the PPP or the stimulus checks. So they said, okay, there's going to be some liquidity here. I think that I'm okay. Now, state to state, we all have various executive orders that may preclude evictions. They may be stay at home. They preclude foreclosures. So it is different state by state, but by and large, there was a pause button. There was a contracting. And then there was some business that started again. Not the same, but there's some. And then from a macro perspective, I just want to have our viewers, if you haven't checked it out, TREP, TREPP, they're a great data company. They have a podcast that's free. It's a half hour. And I was listening to one of those in the car the other day, and they were talking about obviously the CMBS money. And they were saying that nationally, the hospitality non-payment rate for April was around 20%. Retail was around 10%, with the balance of the portfolio, under 5%. So we're starting to see what could happen in this economy. And maybe that's a great thing to ask you is, so one of the tools that I've been using is this TREP podcast. I think it's great data. But what are some tools out there that your members or you've been using through this time?
Sure. What's been really impressive is the Institute, CCIM Institute, was really, really quick to market with setting up chapters with content and tools. This Zoom platform was something that they provided to chapters almost immediately, as well as they really moved everything virtual almost immediately. They in same time frame, right around the middle of March, they had already announced, hey, listen, we've got some virtual classes. We're just going to shift everything virtual. So right now, the CCIM Institute webpage has COVID-19 resources, right? So their homepage is really dedicated to all the COVID-19 resources. You can go there, follow a lot of the different links to National Association of Realtors, CDC, WHO, and see everything. They have videos from Casey Conway, the chief economist, CCIM Institute chief economist, and they're doing a good job at keeping everything COVID related on the main page and accessible to everyone. As far as resources, their education is really ramped up. We had the New England chapter had courses scheduled, in-person courses scheduled. Of course, we've had to delay those. What we're doing now is they're offering all virtual courses, self-paced and instructor-led online for designee only members or designee members. They're providing free complimentary refresher courses. So your core courses, your 101 to 104, they're offering a 4 to 6 hour refresh at no charge, and their CE credit. So you can go online, do those self-paced yourself as well. So the G Suite, Site to Do Business tools, they've actually, timing was right that they just announced quite a handful of new features within Site to Do Business, and the chapter is going to be doing a webinar soon with Site to Do Business to update everyone on those. So I feel that the Institute has really stepped up, you know, and they're funneling everything down to us, and it's a matter of us trying to process and get that out. And that's probably the biggest resource we have right now, is looking to the Institute. And what else is there anything else that you've been doing to kind of help you get to that next step?
You know, I think that I've been looking at some of those online courses, but right now I've really been so busy with communication. And you know, I was chapter president a decade ago during a different challenging financial time, and I think that that's one of the things that should absorb a lot of our time in a good way, is communicating, picking up the phone, calling. Obviously, we'd all like to be face to face. But one of the things that we did in 2008 and 2009 was really just try and stress communication. I think there's nothing that's changed under that from a decade ago. More so if you think about opportunity, right? So if we're not just thinking about improving ourselves, whether it's with the PIN or other CE credits, let's just think about how we can help our clients. So I think one of the things is communication. We discovered in 2008, 2009, there was a lot of work that was needed in valuation services, with a lot of out-of-state lenders coming in that had put loans on particularly multifamily assets in and around New England, and they needed help. They had never driven by these properties. They didn't know the nuances of the towns. So that's where we came in, and there was an opportunity to help them understand the property. So I think now we need to use our communication skills to find out what the opportunities and where we can add value. And what asset classes is that going to be? It's going to affect every asset class differently, like I just talked about with the TREP report. So I would say, for comparing and contrasting the two economic challenging times, I would say everything that's similar is going to be communication and so forth. I'd say big difference. You know, my hair's a little shaggier. I can't go out and get a haircut these days. That was something I was afforded to do in 2008, 2009. So yeah, it's just keep your eyes and ears open, leverage what you have in use of the PIN. I think that what we know as CCIMs is how to properly underwrite a deal. You know, what's the appropriate vacancy rate? What's the appropriate R&M charge? Use those skills that we have and be confident that you have the training necessary to help your clients through this unprecedented time.
Sure. Thank you. And yeah, that's the big thing, is understanding that, you know, we knew, I suppose we understood there was a potential change in the market coming, a shift in the market. This is much different than what we expected. And the key takeaway is really the tools and resources the Institute is providing, and the ability for folks to be a little bit more creative in how they do business, right? These types of meetings, instead of a face-to-face over with a coffee or a beer, you know, taking advantage of that. But obviously, like you said, communication is key, reaching out to your clients, maybe providing lease reworks. You know, there's a handful of opportunities that exist. And I think I believe the Institute is equipping us, and hopefully we'll be able to start pushing a little bit more of that out. So certainly from me to you, Chris, thank you very much. And I appreciate your time today. From the CCIM chapter to you, we certainly value your opinion. You were the president of the chapter during the economic downturn. So, I turned to you a lot to find out, what were some of the things that were different then versus now. Granted, technology is different, but there's some of those fundamentals that are the same, and that's relying on, some of those skills that we have as CCIM and being able to provide that to our clients. So, listen, I want to thank you for your time. I hope you guys stay safe. Hopefully, I wouldn't be afraid of a home haircut. I mean, I've been doing it. You can try. I mean, you're still looking okay. I'm just saying.
I appreciate it. Virtual haircut. We'll do a virtual haircut.
Sure. Excellent. Chris, listen, I appreciate it. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for your time today.
Sounds great. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye.